What's up, guys? Joel Valley from Media Glitch here, and I was challenged by Reggie to give my top 10 greatest video games of all time. Now, this was not easy. This is very hard. And I'm going to challenge right away someone to do it as well, because he challenged several people to do it. And I'm going to challenge Level 857 to give their top 10 best video games of all time. But here's the catch. They have to all agree on it. So I want to see that list that they've all agreed on. So before I get started, I want to say, hit that like button. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, comment down below. What are your top 10 games or your top 3? You know, give me those. I would love to know. So I'm going to put an honorable mention on before I start my list, and that is the game Sanitarium. It's just a PC game that I fell in love with when I was younger. It's just amazing. I love the horror aesthetic. I love the point and click adventure. I love the graphics. Everything is so awesome in this game. So I had to mention it. I'd made a whole video in honor of this game. You got to go check it out. I'll leave a tag or something. But yeah, and I'm also going to say I couldn't boil this list to 10, so I'm going to give you 11, so you get an extra one. So coming in at 11 is Strider for the Sega Genesis. Now, I got Strider one Christmas. I remember the 8 meg cartridge. It was a big deal. And I used to play this game. Now, I used to play Rawstan in the arcades, and I'd play that for years. And then one day, I don't know how long it was, but one day they brought in a Strider machine, and it sat it right next to it. And then that started to catch my eye, and I would jump over there. I'd play a game or two, and eventually got really good at it. And I just loved when I seen the that ape, the big gorilla, the mechanical gorilla. That's when I knew I loved this game. And just like some of the things that happened were so epic for its time, like running down that hill and jumping, some of the level bosses, fighting the Amazon with big dinosaurs. All those things really stick out to me, and it's a game I play on the Sega Genesis quite often. So now coming in at number 10 is Sword of Vermilion. Now this is a RPG game that a buddy of mine, David, had for the Sega Genesis, and I remember him going, dude, I don't like this game, I don't care for it. If you want, you can check it out, take it with you. Gave me this like instruction book that came with it. And I went home and I fell in love with this game. I said, man, this game is so awesome. I love the story. I love the graphics. I love the bosses. Everything just, to me, was fantasy. And I fell in love with this game. In fact, I own 2 copies. I own one that's really rare. That's an actual, for some reason, Sega Genesis cart, but has a Mega Drive sticker on it. So that's really, really cool. So coming in at number 10 is the RPG Sword of Vermilion. Coming in at number 9 is another Sega Genesis title called Mystic Defender. Now, Mystic Defender would be the first game that I officially buy, besides the ones that they sent you. I love this game. I love playing it. I play it quite often on streams, and it's just, everything about it was just so cool. At first I didn't like it, interesting enough, but as time went on I really grew to love it, and it's got all kinds of different just elements to it, horror, even alien, and it was really cool for the time. I actually didn't know it was the sequel to a game that I owned prior, which was Spellcaster. And as I got older, I found out there was different versions of the game, and I did a whole episode too. I'll send you there about the whole series. I did a huge video on it, about the mangas, about the anime, about the games that came before. So go check that out. Coming in at number 9 is Mystic Defender. Coming in at number 8 was Zelda 2. Now, I did love Zelda 1, but when Zelda 2 came out, I thought this was the direction they were going to head, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it. I love the graphics, the music, still to this day. That dungeon music, it's just so good. And it's one I I frequently go back to, that I love to play, that is in my brain. When I think of video games, I think of Zelda 2. Number 7, coming in, Golden Axe. Man, I love Golden Axe. And this was the game that you got Altered Beast for free, and then you could send away when you bought a Sega Genesis for a free game, and they would send it to you. And I chose Golden Axe. And Golden Axe, to me, I can play that beat 'em up all day long. I don't ever get sick of it. I love the music, I love the graphics, I love the magics, I love the level bosses. Everything here, to me, is just a good time, and it reminds me of why I fell in love with video games. And that's why it's number 7. In at number 6 is Ninja Gaiden. And I say Gaiden, you say Gaiden. That's just how we grew up. And I love this game. This game is almost life-changing to me because it introduced to me like cinematics in a video game. And the reason why I wanted to complete the level was to find out more of what that cinematic is, what the next cinematic, what the story was going to unfold. And I don't know why more games didn't do this, but the ones that did really hooked me in for that time. But Ninja Gaiden, really difficult game, hard game, and I remember it took me, I think it took me probably, no lie, probably around 6 years to beat it finally. And I, playing it all the time, not every day or religiously, but like playing it from time to time, getting better and getting better. I remember when I was young, I got to the last guy, but then that's where it just gets really hard with that whole father fight. And it was really, really tough. But this game for me is where it's at. Controls, gameplay, music, outstanding. This is top notch, guys. Coming in at number 5 is Rawstan. Now, I love Rawstan. I used to play this all the time in the arcade, like I said, when I put Strider up there. This is a very challenging game, a very fun game. To me, it was everything I was looking for in a game, which was, I was a big Conan fan as a kid. I loved that fantasy element. You can see those big statues that kind of look very Lords of the Rings. And everything about this, man, was just like, this is an awesome game. I thought the graphics were outstanding for its time. I think it came out in 87 maybe, and for that year, like, there wasn't nothing like that, and it was just so amazing. And so Rawstan is my number 5. Number 4 is a bit of a cheat, so it's just the Ys series, Ys in general, and Ys 1 and 2. You go all the way up to Ys 9 at this point. There's so many Ys games out there. It's just a series that I've been in love with since I was a kid. I love playing it. I love just everything about it. Adol is an amazing protagonist. His little adventures. I like the gameplay. I like everything about it, but the music is amazing as well. It's tunes that you will forever be stuck in my head. Even if I stop playing games today, the Ys music would continue to resonate with me. So Ys series in general, number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I can't tell you how many times I've played this game. We usually hook up the NES every year for my birthday, my friend James and I, and we beat Tyson once a year. And it's just a great game. I love the game. I love the music. I love the challenge. I love the graphics. I love everything. Like, it seems so creative. I'm like, why can't we have an amazing boxing game like that again? Bring it back. Bring it back. I know there's one for the Wii. I was not a big Wii guy because I didn't like the Wiimotes, so I never got a chance to play it, even though everyone tells me I need to, so maybe I'll do that in the future. Coming in at number 2 is probably Contra. I love Contra. To me, it defines the NES. Maybe not as much as Super Mario Brothers, because that's the first one I see. That's the one that goes, oh my gosh, I need to get an NES. But playing Contra was so amazing, and being able to play it with a friend, like that was another thing. And I try to do no death runs now on my channel. I'm not very successful. I usually die once or twice, and it makes me mad. But Contra is an amazing game. I can fire it up at any moment, at any time. It instantly cheers me up, and I just love it so much. That's why it's number 2. And number 1 should come as a surprise to nobody. If you are a fan of this channel or you watch this channel, number 1 is Revenge of Shinobi. It always has been. Even as a kid, like, there's a game that I play all the time. It was Revenge of Shinobi, and it's pretty tough. It's pretty hard if you don't know your way around it. And I don't know, like, you know, I got the story behind Revenge of Shinobi. I did a whole episode on Revenge of Shinobi, okay? And you could go watch it, watch my love for Revenge of Shinobi, a tribute, right? But one thing I don't think I mentioned in Revenge of Shinobi tribute episode is that I got caught stealing at Target video games when I was young, and they took all the games away from me. But somehow Revenge of Shinobi, because I had gotten out with it, had made it and fell under a dumpster that we were hiding games in, and they went in the dumpster and found them all. But that was underneath, and I found it days later, and I played that game. It was so hard, but it was the only game I had. Like, besides Mystic Defender, Golden Axe, I'd played through those so many times. I was like, this is the only game I own. This is the only game that I have. And I played it, and despite the difficulty, I just continued to advance and advance and advance. And then when you found out that, like, Terminator was in it, Spider-Man, Batman, like all these things, Godzilla, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, it didn't even seem like a real game to me. Like, how are these things that I love interacting with this ninja game? And so, I never had that moment, you know, like, where it's just like, what is going on, like, that much in a game, except for maybe the boss fight of Psycho Mantis, but like, for Metal Gear Solid. But like, other than that, like, there's never been a moment that topped, like, holy cow, what is going on? Why am I fighting Godzilla? Why am I fighting, you know? And it was just so awesome to see, you know, Rambo in a game or whatever. But that's a game I play on the stream quite often too, and I beat it for people, and I just love it. It's just so amazing, and I have the pixel frame for it. Everything about this game, I have several versions of it. To me, it's like my #1 game of all time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what your top 10 games are, or your top 3 in the comment section below. I would love to know, guys. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, and he looks you crooked in the eye, and he asks you if you've paid your dues, well, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail. Yes, sir, the check is in the mail. Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.